Hi, Brigitta.
Hi, Cameron.
Thank you so much for joining us today. You've written an article titled "You Can't Out-Invest Poor Spending Habits."
Yes, and
And
I
we're
stand
gonna-
true by that.
Yes, that's right. So I guess now we're just going to have a conversation about the article, but then particularly clients have seen that that we can, I suppose, help over time. So firstly, what's the article about? Let's start there.
So essentially, there's always, or at least people these days, if you've come across this in the past, have taken up to doing side hustles on top of their 9 to 5,
Okay.
which in part it is due
Yep.
to the inflation of just everything, because
Yep.
everything's just more expensive. So some
Yep.
people, unfortunately, have to go down that path. But then there's also that subset of people who are just spending mindlessly to the point that they feel that they have to earn more.
Yeah.
So it's a never-ending game of, when is enough enough?
Yeah.
And we see it often with clients where they're earning a very healthy income. So again, we're talking about people who are earning above $200,000,
Yep.
minimal obligations. So let's say their mortgage repayments are doable,
Yep.
but they just can't seem to put away any money.
Yep.
Just doesn't happen for some reason.
It's really interesting that, and I think over the years, so I think back to say, I don't know, let's call it 20 years ago or something like that, maybe more, where you would get your paycheck. My first paycheck was cash in an envelope,
Yeah.
right?
Or
So
you had to go
get-
to the bank to
Yeah,
deposit it again.
Yeah, so or you just leave it in your wallet. You get your cash, and then you had the amount of money you're going to spend, and then you had your little. This is when I was like 20. You have your little jar, and then that goes to the bank. That's like becomes your savings, and then. But I know for a lot of people, and particularly if we said maybe a baby boomers type generation, that would be how they would live. They'd have
Yes.
their cash. They live off the cash. The rest of the money goes away. The bank gets some of it, pay off their mortgage, savings, etc. Right? But these days we're in a tap and go type environment where you just grab your phone and you go tap and you can get whatever you want.
Yeah, it's out of sight, out of mind, right?
Yeah.
Because you don't actually really know how much you're spending until you look at your statement and you go, that's not good.
Wow. Yeah.
Whereas, when you're doing cash payments, which I suppose a lot of people have started doing that as well now, is because you get the immediate feedback of seeing how much money is left in your wallet.
Yep.
So in some ways, a lot of people do work best in that system. But again, as you know, there's a lot of places who don't even take cash anymore.
Yeah,
So
that is true.
That kind of throws that out the window.
Yeah, I think the cash thing is. I think it's about it being physical. So it's a
Yes.
physical thing that you have, as
Yes.
opposed to an electronic form of payment, irrespective of whether it's a card or a phone or whatever it is. There's just something less tangible about it.
It's just less friction to it, right? So
Yeah.
you don't have to pull the money out of your wallet, give it to the cashier, fumble around with your change while
Yeah.
everyone else is waiting behind you in a
Yeah.
line. It's just you open your phone, you tap, and
Yeah.
away you go.
Well, even like calling it back, I don't know, it's called 5 or 10 years before you can just tap. You had to put in your code.
Card pin, and sometimes that doesn't work, so I have to go again, and then you have
is
to
it
swipe
check
it
or
on
is
the
it
right.
savings?
Yes.
Which one is it? Oh, it could be credit. Don't know. Can't remember. So things have changed, I guess, and that ultimately, in my mind, has made it harder for people to be able to maintain their spending at an appropriate level.
Yes.
You mentioned before one of the things that's in your article is about lifestyle creep. So I guess when you first start, you get your first job, you're earning whatever you're earning, and then over a few years, you become more experienced, you get promotions, etc., and all of a sudden you're now earning good income. But what happens during that period of time is people's lifestyle seems to just adjust
Yes.
to the income that they're earning.
Which is okay when done to a certain extent, right? I think the trap that a lot of people fall for these days, and I know I'm the worst offender of this because I really am, but it's essentially, for a lot of people, it's essentially the tax that you pay for convenience, right? So for example, you wake up, you roll out of bed, you don't have time to make breakfast.
Sure.
And again, I said I'm the worst offender because you would see me walk in with a bag of sandwich
Breakfast.
and a coffee.
Coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But these days, that would take you back $15. Whereas if you make that at home, it's what? not even $3 or
Yeah,
I can't
that's
even
right.
tell you how much it is because
Yeah.
it just doesn't count at that point. And so I think for a lot of people, it's just the lifestyle creep happens so subtly that you don't even realize
Don't
that it
notice it.
happens to you
No.
until you look at your bank account at the end of the month and see, oh, I don't actually have any money left, or I need to pay off my credit card, but I can't even pay it off because I don't have enough money. And it
Yeah.
becomes an endless cycle
Yeah.
until that point where you become conscious of it and try to mitigate it.
Yeah, and recognize it. Yeah, that's an interesting thing, isn't it? Because you like that jolt of you get the credit card bill and you think, oh, okay,
That's terrifying.
You know,
What did I
that is
do?
more than I used to spend. What's happened? Yeah, we're coming at this with the context of it's not great to spend your income, right? Like, or to spend more than you earn, or that sort of thing, which is a
Yes.
reasonable assumption. But what I want to do now is just explore why. So what impacts does that have, do you think, down the line?
Well, I think if we're looking at, let's set the scene, right? So for example, we're talking about a 35-year-old single person. They're earning a healthy income. Let's say it's 180 grand. But at the moment, they're spending all of it.
Yep.
He's got a house. So at the very least, his mortgage is paid off. And
Yep.
so the reality is the worst thing that's going to happen to him is as he inches closer to retirement, he might have paid off the house or he might have a few years left. The good thing about being Australian is, as you know, we receive mandatory employer super contributions.
Yep.
So for most people,
There is mandatory savings.
yes,
Yep.
which in some ways as well, it's also out of sight, out of mind because you don't really think about it until you have to think about it. But the question then becomes, what can you do with your retirement? Right? If you've only got your super account, it only accounts for your bare minimum living expenses.
Yep.
What about everything that you're going to do? What about all the other dreams or, you know, all the vacations that you have always wanted to take, but you couldn't? Or, you know, what if you have kids at that point and how do you count for, maybe let's not even help them at this stage, but to make sure that you don't, I wouldn't say become a burden, but
Yeah.
you don't impose your needs onto your children who are
Yeah.
also trying to build their own wealth. So for a lot of people, the lack of discipline at this stage in their life, where arguably it's easier to mitigate because you've still got a long runway ahead of you, makes sure that they've got the flexibility and choice to decide what their life
Yeah.
looks like in the
Yeah.
future. And, you know, someone said to me the other day, if you spend $30 a day, that's mindlessly, which is, as we know, very easy to do, it's $10,000 a year, which is a terrifying thought, right? Because it doesn't feel like it's real.
After tax dollars too.
After tax. So what? That's like 15 grand
Yeah.
pre-tax. And so I think for a lot of people, and again, there's typically some level of shame or guilt that comes with this
Yeah.
because, you know, how can you be so successful in one aspect of your life? You're killing it. You're earning a significant level of income, but also not do well in something that a lot of people have been taught how to do since they were young. Which, again, we're never at a point where we have to, you know, shame people because everyone needs help at some point.
Yeah.
And this is something that we see often in the business or, you know, just people walking through our doors. But it almost feels like you're, all you need to do in the first instance is realize, again, come to a realization that this might be an issue
Yep.
and just sit down, have a look at everything that's going through your spending and start to pare it back from there.
Yeah. And I think one of the things that I think about when you're talking then, but also when we see clients that are spending what they're earning, and by the way, the example you used is a 35-year-old, but you know, it's everyone. It's a 55-year-old, it's a 65-year-old retiree. It's like it has an impact. One of the things I think about is it just takes that if you think about what it does, it gives you, if you're tapping and you're not doing it mindlessly, you're not doing it with a budget, you're not doing it in terms of being able to.
You're just not thinking about it. Yeah.
It has an impact down the line. So,
Yes.
and the impact is it takes away your choice.
Yes.
So so what you described earlier is, you know, the 35-year-old that spends what they earn. If they keep doing that for the next 20 years, it will just mean that all they'll have is, hopefully, if they've bought a house, they've made their mortgage repayments, and then that's paid off. They'll have their money in super.
Yes.
But as we all know, minimum SG contributions is not going to fund the same level of expense that you're spending through your income in retirement, right?
Yes.
So if you think about, if you plan it out and you have a budget, what that allows you to do is it brings back the choice for you to be able to make your large decisions.
Yes.
Right? These are small. That's a small decision.
Yes.
But a large decision of, I want to change my career, which people talk about all the time. I'd like to help out my kids. I'd get into the property market's another good one. I'd like to go 3 days a week at work. I'd like to go on holidays. I'd like to retire. So all of these things that are large things that are really important to people, you can't have them if you spend mindlessly.
Yes, that's right. And again, it only takes $30 a day, right, for this to have an impact in our financial decisions.
$10,000 a year. Yeah, that's really interesting. I think so. So if someone's fitting into the category of that, like maybe they're listening to this or they've been sent it by a friend or something, if someone's feels that they're falling into that category, what are some of the things that they can do?
Well, first of all, know that you're not the only person in the world who goes through this. So this is unfortunately a very common thing that we say across our client base. And as you said, it doesn't matter how old you are, what your financial situation is, it just happens to everyone. So it's very common, it's very normal. And the second thing that you should do is just take pause. Just have a look at everything that you're doing. Quite literally, go through a bank statement to try to get an understanding of what am I actually spending on? So I do this myself every few months to see, okay, am I actually spending this much money on subscriptions? What have I purchased? And then more times than not, I forget to cancel something, or just this.
That's right.
You do the free trial.
Apple thing comes out $6.99
and you're like,
a
what
month.
is
I'm
this?
Like, what the hell is that? I have no idea. And then you go to your subscriptions on your phone,
like, oh,
and it's
I forgot.
like, it's that thing, that app that I have gone into 3 times.
Yeah.
Unsubscribe.
So it could be anything, right? But when we talk to clients, we don't ever want them to sit down in a weekend and set a budget for them. That is the worst thing that anyone can do. It's so boring. And we are never telling anyone to not spend $5 on a coffee, because if that makes you happy, go for it. Yeah. I think for us, the only thing that matters to us is if you're telling us that you're spending $80,000 a year, so what is that per month? $6,000, $6,500. Are you actually spending $6,500 a month, or is that number actually $8,000 or $5,000?
Is it more than that?
Because if it's unders, congratulations, you're actually spending less than you think.
It's never unders.
If it's overs, well, that's when you can actually see the impact to the plans that we've set.
Yeah.
So, as you know, in particular, when we look at financial modeling, the living expenses number becomes very important, because that drives the decisions around your investments, your structure.
Your life.
Essentially. It's your life plan, right?
Yeah.
And so if that number is way overs, then everything that we've done just becomes futile. It just doesn't work anymore. But for us, we do what we call reverse budgeting, as you are very well familiar of, Cam. All we ask our clients to do is try to separate out their spendings into a few larger sub-buckets.
Yep.
So we'd never try to complicate it. It's really just a matter of having a bills account, having an everyday spending account, and putting a set amount of money into those accounts each month. So for example, if it's $6,500 a month, $3,500 goes towards bills, and then $3,000 goes towards spending. Yep. Very quickly throughout the month, you'll get immediate feedback if that's working or not. Because if you're running out of money halfway through the month, you'll know. You will know. Yeah, and you don't, like I said earlier, we don't ever want to be in a position where you have to worry about spending $5 on a coffee, right? No. As long as you're spending within that set limit, then you're doing great.
Yeah, that's what's important, isn't it?
Yes.
The other thing I find that seems to work really well is having a broader goal, a choice goal. So if you've got no reason to stop tapping, then people don't stop tapping.
No.
But if there's a reason, if there's what we try to do a bit with clients is if we say, if you're a 45-year-old and you want to have choice, something to happen in 5 years' time, you need to make choices now, like the daily choices you make of the tapping. You need to stop some of that and then put some of that choice into your 5-year goal, right? Which might be a change of career. It might be to do your master's. It might be whatever it is that costs money, but at least you're doing it intentionally.
Yes.
It's done intentionally as opposed to unintentionally. And I think that's where people seem, or they tell us, and through our client surveys we see it, they feel better about themselves when they're able to hit those goals.
Yeah. And I think, as you say, everyone just needs to feel like they're winning in some ways, right?
Yeah.
And so, as you know, when we work with clients in the first instance, the only thing that we really care about is what are you trying to achieve? And once we've got that noted down and you've got someone keeping you accountable to it,
That's right.
at least for our clients, it seems to make it much easier for them to try to work on their habits without making that a painful exercise.
Yeah, spot on. Is there anything else you wanted to share?
No, all I can say is we should all probably just be mindful of paying with our phones. So I actually do this myself as a weird thing because I'm very gullible of buying fun drinks throughout the work week to motivate myself. So you'd probably see me walking around the office in really colorful, weird drinks. I honestly just go to the bank and set myself, it's like a $50 weekly limit to buy whatever I want.
Nice.
And again, it's immediate feedback, right?
Yeah.
So, but I think things doesn't have to be complicated, and the only thing that you need to do in the first instance is just take stock of what you're doing and then
set your limits. Think about the bigger picture.
Yes.
Yep. Seek advice. Yeah.
seek advice. Yes, that's important.
Yeah. All right. Look, that's been great. I think I know a lot of people get a lot of value out of that. So thanks for spending 20 minutes or so with me to talk through it. Thanks for writing the article. And yeah, we'll see you next month for whatever the next version of the next article is going to be, Brigitta.
See you then.
Okay. See ya.